camera sparks to life as a cheap intro to a pilot for a paranormal investigation show flashes by. The camera quickly switches its view to that of three men who barely look in their 20s. The one in the center speaks first. "Hello, my name is James Thompson, and these two gentlemen here are my crew. Jesse," he said, pointing to the rather skinny, black-haired guy next to him, "is my paranormal expert and medium." He then motioned to the young man on the other side of him. "And this, good gentleman, is Marcus. He's my main techie and will be the one operating most of our equipment tonight." The scene cuts to an exterior shot of the warehouse. This is the famous Atlus stone masonry. This historic warehouse used to make statues for private and public sale dating back to the original owners who were notable members of the Freemasons. Located just outside of Boston, Massachusetts, this legendary building has had its fair share of mystery, James said. Over the years, cases of unexplained disappearances caused this once profitable business to shut down due to workers not feeling safe and refusing to come in. The owners had all been suspected by police to be behind it, but were cleared of all charges. What happened to these workers? Why were they taken? And who or what was behind it? We're here to try and find out if the missing workers are still in this building, unable to even escape the shackles of time, James said with a slightly eerie tone in his voice. James, Jesse, and Marcus all enter the warehouse, each carrying a basic handheld camera. Only Marcus was carrying anything worth filming a TV show on. Marcus focuses the camera on James. Here we are on the ground floor assembly line, where men and women would spend many hours hand-carving these magnificent statues. Marcus then did a sweep with his camera of dozens of half-finished and finished statues covered in a thick layer of dust. Everything from men with huge muscles posing to women in Victorian dresses, as well as angels and demons lining the many rows of beautiful crafted artwork. "Do you feel anything in this room, Jesse?" James asked as the camera turned to the skinny boy, putting his hand up in front of him as if feeling the air. Jesse closed his eyes and in a very cheesy manner replied, "I'm sensing something malevolent in this room. What it is, I can't say yet." Jesse opened his eyes and looked around himself. "We need to check this building out completely. I think we should definitely set up a few tripods with thermal cameras in here." He nodded slightly and started walking to the back room. The next room was an empty room with several large columns of stone. "This is the main storage room where fresh shipments of stone would come in on a weekly basis to restock this particular production line. Since this building was abandoned in the 50s, these stones haven't been touched in decades. Do you feel anything in here, Jesse?" he asked, and Jesse did the same overly cheesy hand gesture, but said this room was clean. This continued for several more rooms, with on and off responses for feeling anything. "And now comes the part where we do the night investigation, taking time in each room to investigate any and all strange activity we may encounter. We will be going dark, which means no lights at all. This includes flashlights and camera lights," James said, taking out his own camera along with Jesse. Marcus, of course, still had the studio-quality camera in hand. Over the course of the night, they sat in each room and did the usual paranormal investigation shtick of sitting in a room, taking out a recorder, and asked a bunch of repetitive questions. It wasn't until around 1 in the morning that stuff really started to get strange. At some point, the team had split up to do separate investigations in different rooms. Jesse was in the bathroom at the time, using the night vision on the camera to find his way around. He then looked through the mirror, and out of the corner of the mirror, he caught the image of a shadow. He quickly spun around, but it was gone. He started panicking now, shaking slightly as he kept walking toward where the shadowy figure had been. Hearing a shattering sound behind him, he turned around to see the mirror in the bathroom was broken now. He frantically tried to run for it. He saw the bathroom door was shut now and locked with him inside. He slowly turned around. The shadow was right in front of him. Before he could even let out the scream, the camera dropped and the shadow faded. Both the shadow and Jesse were gone. Marcus was down on the main assembly line, scanning the area carefully with his camera. 2 thermal cameras have been set up, scanning both halves of the room for any changes in temperature. Hearing a loud, solid thump as the statue fell over, Marcus felt like he flew 6 feet in the air as he ran to go look at the remains of the shattered statue. He swallowed loudly and called out, "Hello?" he asked, looking around the room, shaking slightly, which caused the camera to shake as well. Another statue crashed to the ground, and he jumped again, panicking. He started running for the stairs. The only thing the thermal cameras were catching was a single black mass moving towards Marcus at incredible speeds, almost as if it was jump cutting from one spot to another in real time. A moment later, Marcus's heat signature was gone, and his camera crashed to the floor, the dark mass disappearing again, leaving the thermal cameras to record nothing but a cold, empty room. James had heard the crashes and quickly pulled out his walkie. "Hey Marcus, what was that?" "Marcus? Hello?" Stupid cheap radios. "Jesse, do you copy?" "Jesse?" He asked into the walkie again, but just as before, he got nothing but silence. "God damn it, where are those guys?" he grunted as he started looking around the building. He headed towards the bathrooms, knowing for sure that Jesse had been heading that way. He opened the now unlocked door and saw the camera on the floor and grumbled. "Come on, guys, this equipment's expensive," he said, putting the camera in his pocket and began to search again. He made his way down to the assembly area where the thermal cameras began picking up his heat signature. The thing that started to panic him was seeing Marcus's pride and joy laying in pieces on the floor. His eyes wide now in concern. "What the hell?" He ran to the exit, wanting to get outside so he can get some reception. Expecting the door to just push open, he collided with the door, which was locked down tight. He tried slamming his shoulder into the door while jiggling the handle, trying desperately to get out. Another statue crashed to the floor nearby. He turned around, his eyes wide with fear. Only through the camera did he see it. A dark shadow just out of focus on the camera. It wasn't moving, so he took the opportunity to run, only to have a statue crash down in his path, making him change direction. His eyes occasionally catching a shadow behind each statue as they would crash in his path as he ran. He was led with crashing statues and falling equipment all the way back to the office where he started from. He was out of breath now and panicked. He sat the camera down on the nearby desk and started searching the room. He looked for any window, any way into a connecting room, but there wasn't anything. There was no way out of this room. The door creaked. He shot his attention to the door. The shadow was there, blocking the only exit. He backed up, keeping his back towards the wall until the shadow was swallowed by darkness. He heard the floor creaking right next to him and turned to face his assailant. What he saw terrified him. Its arms stretched out, reaching for him, its claw-like fingers inches from him. Its face contorted into a snarl, bearing sharp fangs and piercing eyes. Its wings outstretched as if it were gliding on the floor, and its skin gray and smooth, like stone. James was just barely in the view of the camera on the desk now, caught in the night vision. A bead of sweat rolled down James's face. His friends were gone because of this thing, he thought to himself, and he was face to face with it.